Hello. Hello.
Hi.
So how many people here have been to a bad movie night here before? That's excellent.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
That is so cool.
Thanks. I am Matt.
And I'm Kseniya.
Hi. We're the editors of I Love Bad Movies. And
Are we
Steve-
going to stick
Steve,
with
could we
those
get-
names for the rest of the night? Or
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, could we get the slides up, please? So what we do is we edit a zine, a self-published magazine filled with essays, comics, and illustrations about really great bad movies, such as Bratz the movie. Essays by Elliot, Dan, ourselves, Eleanor is in the audience, Christina, some other people. So those are all 5 issues. They've all got different themes. You can pick them up at ilovebadmovies.com. We've got an Etsy store there. And live shows, of course, like tonight.
This is so meta.
With our friends from the Flophouse. You'll see them in a minute. Yeah, are you all wearing the same outfits today? You are, right? That's the same shirt and tie. Okay, different pants. All right. But above the waist, it's all the same. That's them. So we're going to bring them up in a bit.
We put in too many pictures.
To get things started, Kseniya is going to tell you a little bit about what this is.
Because I'm sure none of you quite know that much about Bratz, whereas I read a lot of articles about them. It's actually sort of a fascinating story. Bratz are owned by MGA, which stands for Micro Games of America, which I'm just going to refer to the company as Bratz to make it easier for you. They used to sell a bunch of electronic knickknacks, but one day in 2001, a man came to the owner of MGA. Thanks. That's the owner of Bratz, Isaac Larian.
One of those is not a doll.
And I'm actually going to have Elliot come up here and help me a little bit with the beginning of Bratz. So the designer of Bratz came to the owner of MGA, and Isaac Larian said,
"To be honest, to me it looked weird. It looked ugly."
Larian told me, but Larian's attitude towards the taste of children is respectful to the point of reverence. And his daughter Jasmine, then 11 years old, happened to be hanging out in his office that day. Larian asked her what she thought of the drawing.
"And you know, I saw this sparkle that you see in kids' eyes," he recalled. "They talk with their body language more than their voice." And she says,
yeah, it's cute.
For Larian, that was enough. I said, "Okay, we'll do it."
And so, in 2001, Bratz was launched. In 2002, it was the top Christmas toy. By 2005, it owned 40% of the fashion doll market, which, considering Mattel, the owner of Barbie, used to have 80%, is pretty significant. 2007, Bratz the movie came out. Woo! A landmark. Then, right now it's the 3rd largest toy company in the world. And while they originally started with 4 dolls, now they have over 100. And lest you be mistaken and think that it's just dolls of teen girls, their line also includes...
There's Lil Bratz, Bratz Boys, Bratz Kids, Bratz Babies, Itsy Bitsy Bratz, Bratz Lil Angels, Bratz or B-Bratz. I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know, hip-hop Bratz?
I guess so.
I
Well,
don't
they're
know.
all I guess you be Bratton. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bratz Pets.
Plus, millions of cartoons, music albums,
Millions of cartoons.
and interactive DVDs. They have a lot of products. It's a huge company. All right, what's the difference between Bratz and Barbie? In case you can't tell. Well, they're shorter. They're less busty. Although still kind of curvy, maybe more towards the bottom. They have no careers, which, Barbie is a vet. She's, a pilot, an actress, whatever. She has all these jobs. Bratz mostly just like to shop and change their outfits, which, maybe is not the best role model for girls, but at the same time, maybe it's sort of refreshing to not have to worry, not have career anxiety when you're 15 and playing with dolls. They wear more makeup, and they have skimpier clothes. You know, every mother's fear. Another difference, they have no feet. Which, as anyone who's ever played with a Barbie knows, that the shoes get lost really easily. And I guess this is sort of handy. They're kind of bigger, and you just attach them to the legs.
This is like Bratzing Helena. Did I
They're also sort of ethnically vague, which includes their non-white skin tone. As you all know, Barbie is blonde and white. And yes, she has Black and Hispanic friends, but if you're buying a Barbie, you're going to get the Barbie. You're not going to get one of her friends. And Bratz have these weird, ambiguous names. All kinds of weird, misspelled names. Which, this is sort of interesting. Girls from around the world were asked where Bratz come from. And from each country, they kind of thought Bratz came from their own place. So that's sort of nice.
Is Kseniya one of the names?
No, I think Kseniya is just too normal. Then the lawsuits began. These are both Barbies, so clearly they're kind of knockoffs off Bratz. In 2002, Mattel introduced a new line of dolls, Mycene Barbie, which kept Barbie's basic dimensions but had bigger eyes, plumper, shinier lips, and hotter clothes. A recent incarnation of the line is the unsubtly named My Bling Bling Barbie. The Barbie website says of one of these dolls, Chelsea burns up the bling bling scene in an ultra hot halter top and sassy skirt, so scorchin'.
Wouldn't the bling bling scene be the diamond market? Just
I think you're right. When not getting their groove on, the bling bling girls are mall maniacs. An animated video on the Barbie website depicts them struggling to lay off shopping for a day. They manage only a brief visit to the park where the puppies they coo over turn into high heel boots. The fountain spouts jewelry, and the clouds above them spell out sale before they give in and head to the mall. So, you know, big surprise, Bratz sues Barbie in 2005. They just look too similar. The pouty lips, the eyeliner, the eyes. That was from an article. That's an actual quote. And that lawsuit is still pending. That was never resolved. Let me tell you about the guy who came up with Bratz. Carter Bryant. He used to work for Mattel kind of on and off. So he came up with Bratz while possibly working for Barbie. This is about his idea. The local teenagers, he said, were wearing kind of, oversized clothes, big baggy jeans. Just got me to kind of thinking, wouldn't it be cool if there were some characters that kind of accurately represented today's teenagers? Mr. Bryan said he went back home to sketch an idea. Sassy girls with frizzed hair, bare bellies, and arms akimbo. He had already made research trips to Toys R Us by the time he came to the eventual company of Bratz to examine toys, and to Hot Topic, a goth rock clothing store where he bought things like thongs, string bikinis, and metal belts. This is going to be big, he wrote in an email. Yeah. I don't think he has any children, so I don't know what he was doing at a high school. So in 2008, Barbie sued Bratz because, the idea was invented while the guy was working for them. Possibly, maybe. Sued for $500 million, which, mind-blowing number. Eventually, Barbie won $100 million in damages, and it mostly applied to the first line of Bratz, because the other ones were too evolved from the original. Whatever that means. Then, in 2008, this is something that I've read a lot about and I still don't understand. Suddenly, there was an injunction made to recall and destroy all Bratz products. If someone could explain to me what happened. I worked for a legal publishing company, and I read all this stuff, and I still don't understand. Suddenly, Bratz was owned by Mattel. Like, the rights were just transferred, so Bratz was now owned by Barbie. For about a year, this was in appeals because clearly this didn't make any sense. But fortunately, Bratz got Bratz back. You know, success. It was such a relief to read about that. But lest you think the lawsuits were over, in 2009, there was another lawsuit sort of as a result of the previous ones. Because in the previous ones, it was mentioned that the creator was partially inspired by ads in 17 magazine for, does anyone remember these? Yeah. So the photographer who made these says that he copyrighted the whole idea of women with large heads, oval eyes, small bodies, and large feet. I mean, I get that it looks similar, but no. Then in 2011, there was some more lawsuit craziness. Basically, both companies just sued each other. Bratz sued Barbie, Barbie sued Bratz. Both were accusing each other of stealing trade secrets. Mattel, fortunately, did not win and was ultimately ordered to pay $310 million, which again, these numbers, dolls, doesn't compute. So eventually, Bratz did win. But I don't think the lawsuits are over because I think the next one is coming from John Waters. I mean, no one has really put this out there yet, but I think it's pretty clear that Bratz was inspired by Divine. I think it makes a lot of sense. Well, Bratz win in the end.
Yeah, Bratz. Wasn't that awesome? So we've heard a lot about the internal economics of Bratz, but I kind of want to talk about the external economics of Bratz. How has Bratz really, the dolls and the movie, how has it all affected our national economy? We all know we took a small dive in 2008, but I think they kept us from going lower, and let's see how. Bratz have been doing tie-ins with food companies, encouraging young women to eat, make sure they're eating well, raising the next generation of our nation's workforce. If you have leftovers, you can keep them in a food-safe Bratz container. You can have a treat. You can have an ice cream. It might cheer you up. It may not, it turns out. But at least it's some condolence. Bratz cakes. So food related to Bratz is not just a personal experience, it's kind of a social experience as well. Birthday parties, retirement parties, whatever. There are 3 kinds of Bratz cake, and I'd like to show you all of them because there are hundreds of examples out there. So the first is a sort of 2-dimensional design, just a Bratz character on top of the cake with some icing or piping or whatnot, other baking terms. The next is where the Bratz, is it just a brat? I think it's singular and plural. I think it's like deer. Where the Bratz, it's in the shape of the Bratz itself. So you've got different designs. That one in the top center, obviously faithful to the no foot design. This one here, no legs at all. That's not accurate. The one on the lower right, the kind of misery, hobbled foot kind of thing. So.
I like to think she fell off a crane.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then the third kind, why bother with the whole body when you can get really in your face with a Bratz head cake? Some rendered in disturbingly accurate detail, some rendered with disturbing laziness, as you see there. It's not just food. Bratz has been a boon for the makeup industry, especially as children are using more makeup. Why not? They're getting started at an earlier age, and really we all benefit because these days children are just way more attractive.
I thought we weren't going to have that kind of show.
Oh, by the way, everyone who bought a ticket today, you've automatically been entered onto a sex offender registry. So, just so you know. This doesn't just pertain to physical things. So, Bratitude.com, and you'll learn the meaning of the word in the movie tonight. It's a placeholder site, but according to certain estimates, it's worth up to $2,700. This would be worth next to nothing without Bratz and Bratz the movie. Maybe it would be worth 5 or 10 because it's a good pun. Bratz is also keeping certain individual people afloat and assuming they pay taxes, keeping all of us afloat a little bit. So Jon Voight's career is almost entirely Bratz-based or Bratz-influenced today. So he co-stars in Bratz with Skylar Shea, as you see there. He's co-starred with her in 7 films. 5 already made and 2 upcoming. So there's Bratz the movie. There's something called The Legend of Simon Conjurer, which is just the Tom Cruise Night and Day poster with a different name, I think. Something called Beyond, which maybe involves ghosts or aliens. And it says Dermot Mulroney, but I think that's Dylan McDermott. The jury's out. Hard to tell. As well as Clark World, a documentary on, I guess, the guy who wrote A Christmas Story. They're both in it. Super Babies, this is his bread and butter. He produces these movies. He makes apparently some kind of income off of them. They both appear in Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2.
Which baby does she play?
She plays the sexy baby, I assume.
Of course.
I mean, they're topless. I don't know if she is.
Too far.
There's Baby Geniuses 3, BSI. Really expands the scope. You've got apparently French babies, British babies, American babies, Egyptian babies.
I love that one baby is in a leather jacket but still no pants.
That's the cool baby. And Jon Voight looks like he's playing the same character he did in Mission Impossible, basically. And lest you think that's it, there are 2 more Baby Genius movies on the docket. Notice the director name, Sean McNamara, director of Bratz the movie. So they are all tied into this together. Bratz is supplying jobs by the threefold, at least. Jon Voight isn't the only family dynasty benefiting from Bratz. Does anyone recognize who this is? This is Chester Hanks, otherwise known as Chet Hayes, the rapper who loves all things marijuana. He's also known as the oldest or middle or something son of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. So, where would these nice people be without the residual checks coming from Chet Hayes' Bratz the movie appearance? And you'll see more of him later. All right, so the biggest beneficiary of the Bratz bump would have to be Apple Computer.
Where would they be without Bratz?
Where would they be without Bratz? And we're going to show you. So this is Bratz the movie. This isn't really tied in with the dolls at all, but neither is the movie. So in most movies, the Apple logo would be covered by some sort of sticker, strategically. Here, they've actually drawn as much attention as possible to the Apple logo. This is, I believe that's Skylar Shea, let's just say.
I don't think so. I think
no, it's one or the other one. They all blend together. So here's an iMac. Is she the only one with an iMac? No, they all have either iMacs or Mac laptops.
I think even the poor one has a.
Yeah, even the poor one has a Mac. Yeah. They all use iChat to converse, and I mean this is not vague or ambiguous at all. This is clearly branded. The only people who don't have Mac products in Bratz the movie are the evil or annoying characters. And so what has this meant for Apple? So Bratz came out in August of 2007, and let's see what happened since then. Since August 3rd, 2007, Apple stock has increased 383%. It's the Bratz bump, everyone. It's very clear. No other factors involved. And of course, the one man who's benefited most of all is Mr. Larry himself. And with what he's given to us, we're all better off. Thank you.